Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. This is Jillian Leslie, founder of the Milo Tree pop-up app, founder of Catch My Party, host of this show, business coach, and really business translator. I take what's working in online business, break it down so you can use it in your own business. I'm very excited for 2021, and if you are too, and you're ready to grow your business, think about joining our next coaching group, which is happening January 12th. It's for 6 weeks. We do it live in a small group setting. We give so much personal attention. It's a really special thing. And David and I aren't sure if we're going to do it again after this session. If you want to learn more about it, head to milotree.com/group and you can read about it. But if you want to get on a call with me, I am home this holiday season, so I have a lot of time. Head to milotree.com/meet and you can schedule a time to chat with me so I can hear about your business and talk about how we can help you grow it. 2021 is going to be a really important year, so this is the year to invest in yourself. This episode is a rebroadcast of one of my most popular episodes for the year, and I'm interviewing Lauren McManus. What I like about this episode is she talks about how when she first started a blog with her partner, they failed, and then they regrouped, and then they figured it out, and now she and her partner teach people how to grow online businesses. I think there is so much trial and error that goes into growing your business. Therefore, if you're in the wrong direction, it's really about pivoting, learning, and starting all over again. The other thing that's interesting is Lauren is a digital nomad. I don't know whether she still is during the pandemic, but you will see a world before the pandemic as we talk about her journeys, her travels, her lifestyle. I think it's really interesting. I think you're going to really like this episode. So without further delay, here is my interview with Lauren McManus. Lauren, welcome to the show. I'm super glad that you are here.
Thanks so much for having me, Jillian. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so we were just talking offline about your life, and I'm fascinated by, as a mother, who kind of has to stay put because my daughter is in school, I find your whole life so fascinating. Okay, so first, would you share your entrepreneurial journey and then how you got to be living the life that you are living right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out in a very, very different path, very different career path. I was actually a CPA. I was a tax accountant in Dallas. God. Yeah, and I was working the 9 to 5 or sometimes much later than 5 and climbing the corporate ladder. And that was the life that I had envisioned for myself. And at that time, I met Alex Nerney, who is my business partner. And he was a personal trainer and always had his heart set on doing something in the online world, so running his own business or working in internet marketing in some way. And it kind of started out as this. We first started a health and wellness website. I was a former vegan, and with his personal training background, it was kind of what we bonded over. And it took us a few months of working nights and weekends to try to get this website off the ground. In fact, our first one failed. We started a new one, but we ended up making 6 figures with this little blog in its first year. And by the end of that first year, we had quit our jobs. We had begun to start traveling. And then that was around the time that we started Create and Go, which is our main website now. And this was all within the span of the first couple of years. We were able to quit our full-time jobs and run our blogs full-time. And now I'm doing this interview from Valparaiso, Chile, and I actually travel full-time while I work on my blogs now. And it's a totally different life than I had ever envisioned, but I'm absolutely loving every second of it.
And the thing that was so interesting that you shared is that you travel with a group of digital nomads.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because this travel group that I'm with, it's called the Wi-Fi Tribe, and everyone in the Wi-Fi tribe also has some sort of remote job. So it could be freelancing or being an entrepreneur and running your own business like I do. Could be just working remotely for a company back at home or somewhere else in the world. But honestly, throughout the week, we all work a fairly normal kind of 9 to 5 schedule. But in the evenings, we go out and explore the city. And on the weekends, we often take trips hiking. This weekend, we're going to the Atacama Desert. So yeah, it's a really awesome way to network with other people that are building their own businesses or working in different industries, and also just to safely and in a fun way explore different parts of the world.
And how long have you been living nomadically?
I've been fully nomadic for a little over a year and a half now. Alex and I both started traveling with the Wi-Fi tribe about three and a half years ago. And we would, as I was saying before, we would travel for a month or two, and then we would actually go home for 3 or 4 months, because I will say that if you are building a business or doing anything that requires a lot of time and deep focus, it is very difficult and distracting to also travel while doing that stuff. So we did it on and off, but now that my business is pretty steady, things are pretty consistent, I've now been a year and a half of full-time travel while also running my business.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Okay, so you start your first blog and it fails. Then you start this health and wellness blog and it succeeds. First of all, what was the difference?
Well, and that's the funny thing is that so this first health and fitness website, we created this website and we had these ideas, and these ideas were, at the time we were young, we were 25 and living in Dallas, and we were trying to aim this website towards other people that were in that demographic, people that wanted to be social and still be healthy. And really, it was based around us and what we thought, what we wanted, what we thought other people might want because of what we wanted. And we ended up creating a product. Nobody bought it. We ran a webinar, and there was maybe 12 people in that webinar, and 2 of them were our mothers.
Oh, that's funny.
And the funny thing is, this product that failed, it was a diet program, and nobody bought it. And what ended up happening is we scratched this blog, and we started a new health and fitness blog. And this time we kind of hit our faces, and we wrote a ton of different kinds of content, and we began to get some more and more Pinterest traffic, and we began to learn what articles were the most popular. And we actually, because of being on Pinterest, the average, our target customer became not some 25-year-old person from Dallas who didn't have a family or kids. It was actually about a 45-year-old woman who was a mother, and that's because that's the average demographic on Pinterest. And so what we ended up doing was actually repackaging this old diet program that we had written into a new one, and we learned how to market it to the right person this time, and it sold immediately. So it wasn't that our product was off. It was that we didn't know what we were doing, but we didn't know who our target audience was. We took the time to drive the traffic and build that audience first before trying to monetize it. And I do think that is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of website owners and bloggers do make when they're trying to monetize.
So now this was a diet program. So was it a course? Was it like emails that you would send? Was it a membership site? What was it?
It actually started out as an ebook. It was a set of like 4 ebooks that you would get in kind of in a package. And while we made improvements to the program after that, and we actually did include videos that kind of explained it. So the core part of it is actually just an ebook, but there are now videos just kind of explaining some of the concepts in more details. We do a Facebook support group that comes along with it, so that people going through this diet can go through it together and ask us questions. And that was the main product that we had on our health and wellness website, and kind of how we got started.
Okay, and are you still selling that product?
We are still selling it, yeah. And we have actually tried we've tried to run a membership program. Running a membership program is often kind of the golden nugget that a lot of people hope to achieve at some point, because that monthly recurring revenue,
right.
yeah, it can be incredible. But one of the things that we learned when we tried to do this is that because of, we had upsells behind the product, and this membership program was part of an upsell. And what we realized is that the people that we were attracting to this program, they really were not very tech savvy. And we ended up getting kind of some backlash because people didn't understand that they were buying into a membership program. And so we ended up actually just deciding to scratch that whole part of it afterwards, because people weren't understanding it. People were getting upset about it. And it just turned out to be not a good match for us and for our audience. So we did also have that mistake along the way.
Okay,
yeah.
So then let's talk about Create and Go, which is this. So this is Create and Go is a whole separate blog and business.
It is. And essentially the premise behind Create and Go and what we teach and the courses that we sell in Create and Go is really exposing the journey to going from 0 to 6 figures between the first failed blog and the second one that did become successful, and that we do still also run today. It's basically going from 0 to 6 figures in that first year, and all the mistakes that we made. We teach about getting started, writing content, building your email list, email marketing, affiliate marketing, and eventually creating your own product. So it's kind of all the different strategies that we learned in monetizing that first blog.
Got it. So your target audience there is somebody kind of potentially like you who wants to leave their 9 to 5 and build their own business.
Absolutely. And it kind of turned into that because the first course that we created was actually on Pinterest traffic. At the time, we didn't quite know what Create and Go was going to be, but we believed that Pinterest traffic was what really unlocked everything for us with monetizing this first website, because that was all this traffic that we got was how we were able to test out our email opt-ins and test out different product ideas and learn who our audience was and build our email list. All the traffic that we got made such an impact. And at the time too, Pinterest was still just so unknown as such an awesome source of traffic. So the first course that we created was on Pinterest. The second course was actually on creating your own products. And then we ended up actually having, again, when you're driving traffic, you often if you don't know who your audience is yet, you'll begin to kind of learn through getting the feedback through your email list and comments in your articles. And we learned that we were actually, through the travel and stuff that we were posting, we were actually attracting people who said, that's great and all, the money sounds awesome, but like, how do I even start? How do I even start a blog? How do I do this? And so that was what made us then turn back and go create a new course, which was how to actually get started. And so, yeah, we kind of did a little bit of a flip-flop. And so I can't say enough how important it is to drive traffic and create different types of content and build an email list to kind of figure out who your target customer is and who your readers are and what they're interested in before you try to start making your own products or start monetizing.
Imagine growing your Instagram followers with no work. Highly engaged followers. Now imagine it with Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. How about new email subscribers? Seriously, no work. This is all possible if you install the Milo Tree pop-up on your blog. David, my husband, and I started our blog, Catch My Party, in 2009. We've since grown it into the largest party ideas site on the web with millions of page views per month. We did it with hard work and our secret weapon, our Milo Tree pop-up, which David built for us. We've grown our Pinterest followers to over 1.3 million and our Instagram followers to over 164,000. And right now, 8,000 other bloggers just like you are using Milo Tree to grow their businesses. With Milo Tree, you can focus on growing one platform or switch between several. But here is the important thing. If you aren't converting your visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you're honestly wasting your own traffic. Make this asset, your visitors, work for you. Since we're bloggers, we get bloggers. So we've optimized Milo Tree like crazy. It's a snap to install. It won't slow your site down. It's Google friendly on mobile, and it's so darn cute. You can even add animated sparkles to your pop-up if you like. Sign up now and get your first 30 days for free. Please pause this episode and head to milotree.com to sign up. I know you will thank me. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'm going to send you weekly actionable business tips to help you grow your business. I've been at this a long time and I have a lot to share. Remember, your scarcest resource is not money, it's time. So let MiloTree free up time for you so you can focus on the other important parts of your business. So what are you waiting for? Hit pause, head to MiloTree, and sign up today. So you would then, let's say, write an article or write a blog post, pin it to Pinterest, and then how would you collect that person as an email address?
We have email opt-ins on our blog. So we've tried many different things from, we have little forms in our footers. We did scroll mats for a long time. Now we have stuff custom coded into our website to have banners at the top of our articles. But that was essentially it. I mean, it was kind of like this shotgun approach. When we first got started, it was this health and wellness website. We wrote everything from yoga to other types of exercise, recipes, dieting, weight loss. And because at the time we didn't know what was going to be the most popular and yet how we were going to monetize it. And so we actually at one point in time, in our biggest testing phase right before we began to make money, and when we were really focused on building that email list, is that we actually had 5 different email opt-ins and 5 different email funnels set up on this blog. And they were around those topics I just named: diet, weight loss, fitness, recipes. Because at the time we didn't know. And what we found was that most of our audience was gravitating towards yoga and weight loss. And so that is what ended up causing us to create products in both of those spaces rather than recipes or make a workout program. So that was kind of a lot of experimentation. And it was only through those emails that we collected as well that we were able to figure out, not just is it weight loss that they're interested in, but we at the bottom of our first email, we would say, what's the number one thing that you're struggling with when it comes to, yoga or weight loss? And what we realized is that we didn't just get back, oh, I'm too lazy to go to the gym. The responses that we got back were, hey, I am 45 years old. I have 3 children. I work a full-time job, but we were able to actually get all these responses and form this kind of customer avatar from the stories that people were telling us. And that is what enabled us to remarket that old product and kind of learn exactly who we were selling it to.
That is so powerful. Now, were you offering lead magnets? Like, here are, 5 tips or something like that? Or were you just sending people to articles?
No, we were definitely, again, we had the whole funnels built out. So we created 5 different email opt-ins. And that was the other thing, we had those 5 opt-ins running, but even those 5, one of them was on weight loss, and it was so much heavy experimentation in that phase, because if we had one lead magnet that didn't work, we would create another one. We would spend a few more days creating another one. So it was like the 5 tips for this or the 5 hacks for that. I would create different covers for them, and we would split test all of this stuff to see to make sure that we were getting the right conversion rates. And if we weren't getting a high enough conversion rate, we ended up scrapping the opt-in, changing the headline or changing the cover. We changed something and kept tweaking it until we got what we wanted. So that was kind of how we honed in on yoga and weight loss. Those had the highest conversion rates.
That is so great. I recommend this all the time. I call them at-bats, which are how many at-bats that you have to be constantly tweaking and changing, and not see these as failures, but as learnings.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, so much of what we do is about marketing, right? Like, whether it's your emails, your sales pages, the way that you talk to people, marketing is so important. And it was all those tweaks and all those things that you have to pay very close attention to that helped us learn how to be marketers. Neither one of us, we both had a background in business. We have business degrees, but I was an accountant. So like, sales and marketing was not my thing at all. But that's how we learned marketing was tweaking headlines and designing these covers for our lead magnets and stuff. And it was a really, really fun I wouldn't always call it a fun process, I guess, because at the time we weren't making money, so it was a bit stressful. But I'm so thankful that we went through that process of trial and error because it taught me so much.
Yeah. And like how not to take things personally, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I can't tell you how many stories I've, where entrepreneurs will talk to me or email me and talk about how demoralizing it feels. And I go, no, reframe it. It's testing. It's just testing.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you're on your way. So keep learning. It's learning and testing.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to tell my students is just to honestly to embrace failure, because it's only if we had just hit a home run from the beginning, we'd still be running the health and wellness website, but we definitely would not be teaching about internet marketing right now, because it was only through all that trial and error that we were able to learn so much, and so much that we were able to create a whole other business out of that. And so I'm so thankful for that learning process. And once you do begin to start figuring it out, that learning process makes you appreciate it so much more, because you really earned it, you know?
Yeah. And I call it mining for gold.
Yeah.
That we're all
that
miners, we're all just like looking to see, oh, is it this or is it this? What are people connecting with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of, okay, so on your website now where you teach people how to build online businesses, you have a ton of content. So would you guys be writing all of this content?
Yes, and honestly, it does help that there's two of us. I don't think we could have done it. We have hired out content from time to time on our Health and Wellness website. All of our content now is hired out, and we even still go through phases where we don't write content for months and months at a time, and then we start it back up again. Just for us, what kind of often works best is when we are creating a new course, or embarking on some new project in our business, we kind of dive in head first and kind of let a lot of the other stuff kind of sit for now. And we do have a team to help us make sure that we run things that, the normal processes, like they continue, but we used to call it product creation mode. And when we were creating a new course, we would just forget everything else. We would stop writing content for weeks or months at a time and only focus in on creating this course. And so, we do still write content, but we also produce YouTube videos. We update our courses, and so we go on podcasts. We send that kind of content to our audience. So we're not always writing, and it's not. As we've grown, we've found that it's less important to constantly produce new articles, but we definitely have gone through those phases as well.
Got it. So what does your team then look like? So you and Alex work remotely. I mean, meaning you're not in the same space, same place. You're like halfway around the world.
That's correct. Yeah. We both do a lot of travel, and yeah, for me, it's full time. It's crazy because we waited way too long to actually build a team. We did it all ourselves for the first couple of years. And then we first hired a customer service manager, and that kind of grew a little bit from there. And so we now have a core team of 4 or 5 people, and those are the people that we work very close with on mostly a daily basis, like our customer service managers. We have a couple of those, one for each blog. We have a couple of site guys that help us with SEO and just general site maintenance and stuff that we are not technical enough to be able to handle. So we have maybe 4 or 5 core team members, but we also have maybe an additional 2 or 3 freelancers and stuff that we work very close with too. And everyone is remote, and we all communicate through Slack. So it's pretty great.
I love Slack. I use it with my team as well. My teams actually, and I think I would die without Slack. Everything is there.
And it's actually how my travel group, my Wi-Fi tribe community communicates as well. So we're all in a city together, and we're usually spread across 3 or 4 apartments, and everyone works during the day, but we all have access to Slack channels, and that's kind of how we plan out what restaurants that we want to go to, and how we plan out our weekend trips and stuff. So I use Slack for my fun travel stuff, and I also use it for my business. So I can't say enough good things about Slack.
Now, you guys publish your income reports.
We do.
Can you talk about that and like why you decided to do that, what it's like, whether you feel like it holds you accountable, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We publish income reports I mean, honestly, we started doing it because that's what other people were doing in the blogging space. When we were first starting with the health and wellness blog, we were reading income reports. We were reading them, every time they were published every month from people like Pat Flynn and Melissa Griffin and Michelle Schroeder Gardner. Those were some of the top bloggers that we were following, and they were all publishing income reports. And this is what inspired us and kind of let us know that like like really what's possible with their online business. And it was very inspiring. And when we eventually got into kind of the business blogging space as well, we honestly just followed suit because that was what the top people in our niche were doing. And we do it. It's a bit weird having that kind of out there because, anybody,
it's like your mom,
your family,
yeah, exactly. Your aunts and your cousins can be like, hey, how are you doing? Maybe I should hit you up for a loan.
Yeah. Your family and your friends, you're definitely exposed to that. And it's a bit weird. It's definitely something that you get used to. And to be honest, I don't think that too many of our family or friends really check out our websites much anyway. This is kind of some weird online world that we have that they just aren't really a part of. A lot of my travel friends look it up because they're also starting their own things and more in the online world. But yeah, I mean, that's why we started publishing them, and we publish it still once a month, and we just get so many amazing comments from our readers, and a lot of replies back to our emails, and people find it very inspiring. And I think it's like that monthly income report is kind of the reminder for them to keep pushing forward. They're having a lot of down days because they're struggling to make, to build their business and to make money. And they're kind of in the trenches, as we say, in those early days. And I think that once a month kind of reminding them that of what's possible.
It's possible,
I think
right.
To inspire people.
Absolutely. Okay. So if for bloggers today, where do you think the opportunities are?
Where do I think the opportunities are? Well, I think that I do think that there's always so much space at the top. I mean, people are always like, well, there's so many other people doing this already. So is there even any point, And like the best thing I can say there is that we got started in one of the most, oversaturated, I think weight loss is like the number 2 or number 3 search topic in the world. It's ultra competitive, and we were able to make money within the first few months. So there's always room at the top. But I do think that you need to find, what your unique selling point is. And for us, getting started on Pinterest helped tremendously, which is why this is how we teach our bloggers to start with Pinterest. And the other favorite platform that we have is YouTube. And I think that YouTube especially is still, it's not as competitive because it's a lot more difficult to get your face on video. So a lot of people just don't bother with it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are going after Instagram these days because it's just so popular. But I think you just need to find your way. And I do think that Pinterest is still the best source for bloggers. And I just think that we just tell our bloggers, just speak from experience. Like don't get too overly focused with think when you're creating your topic and what you want to start your business on, it should be something that you have experience in and that you're knowledgeable about. Because at the end of the day, you're just sharing your story. And if you share your personal story, that automatically makes you unique from everyone else, because your story might be similar to others, but it's never going to be the same.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of YouTube, how often are you guys making videos, and what are your videos about?
That's another, just like with the content on our blog, it's one of those things where we'll go almost a year without publishing a video. I don't know that we've actually gone quite that long, but we used to publish videos a couple times a month or so, back when we first started. And then we would go kind of, once we had a bunch of videos ranking for the certain keywords that we wanted to rank for, we kind of turned our sites to other things and stopped posting for a few months. And only just now is Alex is actually the one that does most of the YouTube videos. I think he's got about 98% of the videos on there. It's just more of his jam. And he's actually just getting started in doing those again. So I think we're going to probably see one every month or two. Now he puts a lot more work and effort into them than he did in the beginning.
Now, are they about health and wellness, or are they about growing businesses?
No, they're about growing businesses. Again, because that target audience that we have on the other website, that demographic really doesn't spend much time on YouTube. But in the online business world, YouTube is an awesome source of traffic because that's kind of where the younger demographics hang out. So that is what we use. We use Pinterest for both blogs, and Pinterest is the primary source for Avocado, our health and wellness blog. But we use Pinterest and Google SEO and YouTube for the online business blog.
Got it. Okay. Now, in terms of advertising, paid ads, do you run a lot of paid ads?
Do you mean like paid ad traffic to our website?
Like are you running Facebook ads and Instagram ads and things like that?
Yes, we do. We don't on our health and wellness website because the ROI just isn't high enough. Our products are average about $37. So we weren't able to, as much as we would have loved to have been able to do some paid advertising on that website, we're not able to. And on top of that, online advertising in the weight loss world is very difficult.
And very expensive.
Yeah. Especially just to get ads approved in the weight loss industry. It's pretty difficult. But we run promoted pins on Pinterest, and we run Facebook ads, and we do a little bit of Google and Instagram, but not too much.
Okay, and this is to drive people then to create and go.
Yes. Our courses are much more expensive on that blog, so we're able to kind of find a sweet spot with the ROI on those ads.
Got it. Okay. So how many hours, and given your lifestyle, how many hours a week are you now? Okay. Back in the day, I'm going to ask this as a two-part question. Back in the day when you guys first started, how many hours a week were you working? And today, which is what, like 4 years later, how many hours a week do you work now?
When we first started, we worked a lot. I mean, we worked for about 4 or 5 months on the first blog while we actually had full-time jobs. So we would work 3 or 4 hours every evening, and we would work most of the weekends straight through. So, I mean, we were working a lot of hours on top of our regular jobs. But after we quit our jobs, honestly, we still worked a lot. And in part it's because we were, trying to grow this business. It's also because we were very passionate about it. We actually loved it, and we knew that the more time that we spent in the beginning, the more it would pay off in the end. So there were definitely weeks that we worked probably 70, 80-hour work weeks easily after we had quit our jobs. Because what happened was we quit our jobs before we were making any money, but we had some savings. And so we moved up to Seattle in Alex's dad's house and kind of holed ourselves away there until we were able to start making money. And we probably worked 70 or 80 hours a week at the worst. And now, honestly, it's a typical 40-hour week with a general 9 to 5, which is funny because we talk about escaping the 9 to 5, but really when everybody else works a 9 to 5, you kind of almost settle into that 9 to 5 workspace anyway. And so, we work about 40 hours. I mean, some weeks we take off entirely, and some weeks we might work more than that. It really just depends on what projects we're doing. And for me, where I'm traveling and what I'm doing, I just went to Patagonia about 2 weeks ago, and I took about 9 days off. So, it's nice because it's almost looks like a normal job now, but it doesn't have to be. We still have the freedom to work whenever we want and how often we want to work.
Yeah, I think that's what's so special about what we all do, which is you could work 9 to 5, but it's up to you. And if you want to take the day off, you can. And if you want to work all weekend, you can. And you know that you have work to do, but that there's no boss who is looking over you, like over your shoulder going, wait, what? What do you mean you're leaving it for?
Yeah, absolutely. And it really, I think it depends too on where you're at with your business, because for us, we're still actively trying to grow it. So we could work, half that amount or even less and mostly maintain what we're earning right now. But we are still trying to grow it. So we are investing, the 40 hours or more to still grow the business.
And now what about your business are you guys most excited?
I think so. The next couple big projects we're working on, we have not yet done webinars. For the longest time, we just said we do not want to have to do webinars. We want to create our business in a way that we can make enough money, doing launches and things without having to be tied down to these monthly webinars. But now that we have built our business and we've got things pretty stable, we do believe that webinars will greatly increase our income, and also help our audience out. And so webinars and then starting a podcast probably in the new year. Those are our two big projects, and we think that it's going to help our bottom line, but also be something that is super, super helpful to our audience. So it's kind of like a double reward there.
Now, in terms of webinars, are these webinars to ultimately sell your products?
Yes. We often discount our courses kind of on a monthly or quarterly basis to our email list, and so they would be webinars that we would put in those launches when we do discounts, but they would also be in the email funnels that we have that sell our products.
Got it. Well, this is great. Okay, so do you have any parting piece of advice for my audience of entrepreneurs at all different stages?
I think just tying in what I was kind of saying before, just the importance of connecting with your audience, finding that way to still be super relatable and find out who your target customer is. And it's about finding out the information that, again, creating that customer avatar, because without it, you will end up mismarketing and not able to sell your products nearly as well. But also just being able to remain transparent as you grow as well. It's a comment that Alex and I get in our YouTube channel a lot, is how transparent we are. And I think it's because a lot of our YouTube videos are very, the older ones especially, are very unpolished. And Alex has surfer hair from coming out of the ocean in Nicaragua. And a lot of the old videos, he's actually just reading blog posts, but he's telling our story. And I think that relatability is what people find so refreshing and different about Alex and I. And we know all this because we talk with our audience often in our groups, in the replies we get back from our emails, in the comments in our articles, and our YouTube channel. It's just so important to connect with your audience and learn as much as you can from them while you're building your business.
Oh, I think that's great. That's great advice. Okay, Lauren, how can people learn about what you're doing and reach out to you?
Absolutely. My website is createandgo.com. This is the main website where our online business blog, and our YouTube channel is also Create and Go. So those are two of the best places to check us out.
Great. Well, Lauren, this has been such a pleasure. And I think what you're doing is so cool.
Thanks so much.
I love that you're actually doing it. I think that we all have this fantasy of being digital nomads, and you're like my first digital nomad friend.
That's awesome.
I'm really inspired by the way Lauren thinks about building businesses, putting out content, especially using Pinterest to get feedback, then building products that can serve your audience. If that is exciting to you, if you're ready to take the next step, join our 6-week coaching group starting January 12th. The way it works is we meet twice a week live on Zoom, but all sessions are recorded, so you don't have to be there live. There's a private Facebook group. We do teaching sessions and Q&A sessions. Really, we get to know you and your business very intimately, and we guide you on the process so that after the 6 weeks, you know exactly how to continue growing your business. Please jump on a call with me during this holiday time. Head to milotree.com/meet and you can pick a time that works for you. And I'd love to get to know you and your business and talk about what you can achieve in 2021, because I really believe this is the opportune time. And I will see you here again next week.